fertilizer but use less, you are also failing and will never get your target yield. Phosphatic fertilizers aid the maize plants in root development, which will be used as main feeding zones for your maize. If root system is not well developed, it will not adequately absorb nutrients and water from the soil and therefore reduce yield. Also, very important, consider planting depth. I want to repeat here, also very important during planting is consider planting depth. Normal depth is 5 centimeters deep. If planted too deep, it will reduce germination percentage. If planted too shallow, they may be eaten by birds and other animals like squirrels. Also, if planted too shallow, the seeds may be washed away by runoff or may not develop strong roots to anchor the growing maize plant. Activity number 5 is application of pre and early post-emergent herbicides. Bear in mind that this applies only to pure maize stand, those farmers who grow maize alone. If you have intercropped maize and beans, don't use these herbicides. Activity number 6 is control of pests. As discussed in previous videos, main pests in maize is fall armyworms and maize stalk borer. Stalk borers are very easy to control with mild insecticides. Other pests are aphids and cutworms. Cutworms affect germinating seedlings by cutting their stems, while aphids come much later. Feel free to share about the presence of cutworms in your farms so we can discuss them further. Activity number 7 is top dressing. This is application of nitrogenous fertilizers when maize plants are actively growing. As discussed in previous videos, do first split at 6 weeks after sowing, that is at 42 days, and with our example or target fertilizer, we were applying 5 grams per plant. 2 weeks later, do second split of top dressing fertilizers, that is at 56 days after planting. Using our sample fertilizer, rate is 5 grams per plant. In our previous discussions, we applied 5 grams per plant, but you need to note that we used 46% nitrogen. If you use 27% or any other percentage, quantity per plant will have to increase. That there is no negotiation about it. You can also do foliar fertilizer spray. Here I want you to note that it is not compulsory to spray foliar fertilizers in maize. You need to observe your crop, and if needed, you can spray. Best time is when there are no rains, causing delay in basal fertilizer application. Also note that there are many fertilizer brands in the market. That is, many foliar fertilizer brands in the market with different ratios of N, P, and K plus micronutrients. Time of application of these foliar fertilizers depends on when it is needed. I advise that you target foliar fertilizers with the high nitrogen and potassium. If pre and early post-emergent herbicides did not work, you may need 2,4-D herbicides. This can be sprayed when maize crop is at a height of 45 centimeters from the ground. Point of note here also is that remember that 2,4-D herbicides only controls broad-leaved weeds for 3 to 6 weeks. At 6 weeks, more broad-leaved weeds and grass weeds will have emerged. Again, I request that you subscribe if you have not. That helps you to be notified whenever we upload a new farming video. At this point, you will need to do interval spray of a herbicide containing paraquat. Let me emphasize this point that since 2,4-D herbicides can only protect your crop up to 6 weeks, beyond 6 weeks, new broad-leaved weeds and grass weeds will have germinated. So, around this time, you will need to do interval spray of a herbicide containing paraquat. So I hope I'm very clear. This herbicide is non-selective and will kill all weeds, that is grasses and broadleaf. Rate depends on quantity of active ingredient. Common paraquats in the market contain 200 grams per liter paraquat or more. If you use this formulation of 200 grams per liter, then per acre you need to spray 800 ml in 80 liters of water. Per hectare, it will add up to 2 liters in 200 liters of water. I want to emphasize that if you spray paraquat based herbicides, you must do it interval, that is between the rows of maize. You must not spray on top of the maize. If exposed to green leaves, they will be scorched, though the crop will recover. If sprayed on top,